Bramborough back with some Grand Tactician Civil War. It's a Union campaign in version 1.07. It's April 1862. Coming off the conclusion of the last episode, I don't think there's any suspense today on what this episode is going to be about. Before getting into that, though, this right proper mess in here, there is one thing I want to do beforehand, because I might forget if I do not, and that is, looky here, British Rifles is now unlocked, or unlockable, in Diplo subsidies, so I am taking that. Seems like we've been talking about that for, 10 or 12 episodes, and it's finally here. In addition, I talked in a recent episode about, last episode, about opening up the political subsidies a little bit to go for some suppressed population to counteract the POW camp overcrowding support. And that's available as well. So let's take a level of that too. Okay. And let's not forget to actually order the weapons. So we have from that project available Winfield musketoons. Very good accuracy, 400-yard range, 3.5 rounds per minute. So this is not a fast-firing weapon for a cavalry arm. All right, it's still a little bit faster than a rifle musket, right? You know, like the Springfield, Winfield. I think they're at 3.0. So the cavalry will still fire a little bit faster. But this is basically a very accurate 400-yard range weapon. And I'm going to probably equip a fair number of cavalry with this when they finally arrive. The nature of that weapon, I think those cavalry I will be more prone than I have been in this playthrough with kind of using them in a dismounted role, kind of like mounted infantry. And and just to differentiate that, units which have these, I'm going to call them dragoons, which is a term I think was kind of out of use, recently out of use, but out of use by the time of the 1860s. I am thinking probably 10,000 of these should be enough to equip probably 5 to 6 brigades. If I recruit them at full size at 2,500 brigades, it's enough for 4 brigades. If I go 10,000, we're looking at about a month and a half. If I go to 25,000, basically we're talking enough for 10 to 12 brigades there. We're looking at you know what? That's only 2 weeks longer for 2.5 times as many. I think it's worth waiting the extra 2 weeks. And this will probably 25,000. I think will be enough cav weapons for any and all cavalry that I recruit for the rest of the campaign. That would be almost enough for almost double the cav I already have in 2 months. That's decently fast. If I did the full 50,000, that's only 72 days. That is faster than typically when you first unlock a domestic production weapon. That's good to know. Hopefully it's the same way with the Winfields. I'm going to go with 25,000 for the Winfield musketoons. Let's see if we get the same sort of thing with the Winfield rifle muskets. Okay, and this thing is pretty much identical to the Springfield rifle musket. Mediocre accuracy, 400-yard range, 3 rounds a minute. same caliber. Yeah, here Springfield's right above it. 0.58 caliber, mediocre, 400, 3.0 rounds per minute. Okay. So the value of the Enfield musket isn't that it is a better weapon. It's just that it's another source of a standard line infantry brigade small arm. And you can have multiple orders running at once. We have an order in place for another 50,000 Springfield rifle muskets. Let's see how long it takes to get to augment that order with some Enfields. And it's the same as it is for the Enfield Musketoon. I could get 50,000 of these in 72 days. It is a little more expensive than the Springfield rifle musket. I've got an order of 50,000 coming. I've already got a military of 200,000. But I've been recruiting a lot of units. And frankly, with the way that the CSA is recruiting in this campaign in 1.07, I don't know. Prior to 1.07, I would be very comfortable that the military that we have now is all the military ever going to need. Matter of fact, we would probably, in April 62, we would probably be pretty close to winning this campaign right now. Kind of being in a dragging it out mode a little bit, maybe. I am not getting that vibe from this campaign at all. Are we ahead? Yes. Are we ahead nearly as much as is typically the case by April 62? On a very hard start? No, I'm not even close. I'm going to go ahead and order 50,000 of these. My past experience tells me that's a little bit of overkill, but I'm not trusting my past experience right now. So let's go ahead and order 50K of those. And let's have a look at the Whitworth. What's this thing about? Let me get the tooltip up here. Come on. There we go. Okay, it's a little bit smaller caliber, 45. Accuracy, excellent. Very, very few weapons have excellent accuracy in this game. 600-yard range. And then the downside is a reload of 2 rounds per minute. I'm not terribly comfortable with a line infantry brigade up on the line in a brigade versus brigade firefight at medium to short range, equipped with these weapons. Because if you're at short range, then this weapon's accuracy and range strengths, right, they're minimized. They are still more accurate, but at that point, you're just trading shots at ranges where they're hitting with smooth bores and regular rifle muskets pretty heavily anyway. And in that situation, that 2 rounds per minute, the volume of fire is at a bit of a disadvantage. So I would not want to equip tons of brigades with these things. However, 1 or 2 per corps, depending on the size of the corps, right? Like 1 brigade in one of the smaller corps, the 6 and 7 brigade ones, and then maybe 2 brigades of these in the full 9 brigade corps. Yeah, we got to use these things. And so we have 10. We have 10 corps. So I think I would like enough of these to equip somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 to 15 brigades total across the entire map. And that leads me to, I think, about 25,000 will do. That would be enough for 10 medium size at recruitment infantry brigades. But as I've talked about elsewhere in the campaign, the attrition situation 1.07 is there's a lot of brigades out there that are kind of struggling to, you know, they tend, a lot of them tend to be hovering in the 1,700 to 2,000 man range, especially soon after a battle. I think 25,000, and we're going to have these in 2 months. Interestingly, they're not really that much more expensive than the Enfield Musketoon or the Enfield Rifle Musket. Okay. So we have 100,000 British small arms on the way. 25,000 Whitworths, 25,000 Enfield Musketoons for the Cav, and 50,000 more Enfield Rifle Muskets for the line infantry, which the three of those orders taken together probably means we're going to get hammered with another credit rating drop at the end of the month. Speaking of which, where are we at with our policies on the enrollment? 10 more days. 10 more days for this, and that's going to get that replacement speed bumped up. So hopefully kind of close the gap on trying. I don't think it's going to fully close, but you know, lessen the gap of what attrition is doing to us. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pop the Terrafact immediately afterward. Enough of that. So here we are in Virginia. Let me just cover one other thing. 8th Corps reached the bank of the Arkansas River, and so I have given Lyon the order to cross, and that should put us into the siege of Fort Smith. Siege continues at Fort Henry, heavily in our favor. Not much going on elsewhere in Tennessee. After the recent battle at Fort Beauregard, that fort is being reconstructed, and Grant's army is trying to regain some readiness. I think another change in 1.07 is that armies seem to regain readiness a lot slower in enemy territory than they used to. We saw that with Patterson's, then Thomas's Corps, the 2nd Corps, when it was still the Army of Pennsylvania at Winchester. And we're seeing it now with the 4th and 5th Corps here, Hooker and Sherman. Army of the Kanawha just about done with their supply depot. And then they're going to have to stay here a little bit longer to replenish their stocks before they move on Knoxville. And Nathaniel Banks's Hatteras expedition still under orders to go to sea, hook around here, give the North Carolina squadron a wide berth, and see if they can come down here and finish the capture of Fort Hatteras. Yeah, there's their movement order. Right. The siege of Fort Washington. Pretty much all field forces in the Eastern Theater, both Union and Confederate, are committed to this. There is one exception. I noticed that Winfield Scott's headquarters itself is not committed, and neither is the Cavalry Corps. Right? So I've given them orders to move up and get in this thing. Otherwise, they would be left out. Because once this thing converts to a tactical battle, there is no reinforcement. Just whoever's in is in. And I think everybody starts on the field as well. So let's get the Cav and let's get Winfield Scott in there. This thing is in our favor at the moment. Pretty comfortably in our favor. The size of force, he's got about, John B. Magruder is shown as in command, but I think that's just because he was in charge of the force that initially besieged Fort Washington. Certainly Colonel Palmer is not going to be in overall command of this entire battle. Anyway, Magruder's got about 65,000 men. And we have a total of about 76,000. So we have a small superiority, a modest advantage in troop count, but we have more than twice as much artillery. We're also taking fewer casualties. And because of the fact that all forces in the theater are already committed to this battle, to this siege, I don't think there's anything else out here to come join the siege and tip it in the Confederates' favor. If we just let this go the way it is, I think we'd win. I don't think it would, I don't think the bar would go topsy-turvy on us and start going in the wrong direction. And I think all these Confederate armies would retreat. I'm pretty confident of that. And I'm not sure exactly what the Army of Northern Virginia is doing, but they're going the opposite direction. They don't seem to be headed to join this. And even if they were, it's 6,000 more guys. So I'm not too concerned about it either way. So it would be a perfectly viable option just to let this ride on the campaign map. But no, we got to fight a big-ass battle here. I ain't doing that. Is this going to be the biggest battle in this entire campaign? I don't know. Is this going to be the biggest battle so far in this war? Yeah, I think it is. Let's hop in. No, let's not hop in. Let's wait for the Cav and for Scott to get involved. Oh, he is coming up. That's fine. Come on in. The water's warm. There you go. We got the Cav in here yet? I guess it's as close as... Okay, Cav's in and Scott's in. And there's the credit. We may have... Yeah. All those guns. All right. Now let's start it. Yeah, he picked up... he actually picked up... I think that Army of Northern Virginia may be a little bit bigger than the estimates said. Because the Confederate force just picked up about 10,000 infantry alone. And I think about another 5,000 cav. So that was an erroneous intel report. Meanwhile, we've picked up a bunch of cav of our own, and so we're looking at 88,000 troops for the CSA. He also picked up about 70 more guns. So what was that 88,000 troops for the Confederates and about 80,000 for us. Suddenly we're a little bit outnumbered. All's the better. Okay, let's hop in. We're on the Manassas map, which surprises me a little bit because Fort Washington itself, it even says here, the location of the battle is in Maryland, even though a lot of the forces involved in the siege are on the Virginia side of the river on the campaign map. Anyway, gave us the Manassas map, so we got. It is a defensive situation. The objectives are back here, and we have the entire Army of the Potomac, all 5 corps, counting the Cav Corps, on the field now. This isn't their deployment position. You can see the deployment zone and all of these flat areas in it, indicating that the Confederate zone is butted right up against it. So I just put them here on the edge just to see if we could see any Confederates close. There are not, as you can see. Under the circumstances, I think the plan is pretty evident. We've got a nice stretch of Bull Run itself right here in front of the objectives. We've got high ground here, here, and on here, and here. For artillery, we've got 66 engineering points. So we're going to get the Army of the Potomac arrayed in a defensive posture from right about here, just in case they try to come up here on the flank. I'm thinking like a corps here, a corps right in here, a corps here, and a corps here, extending our left flank, anchoring it up onto this wooded ridge, with artillery here, 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 and here. That's going to take me a little while to set up. I'll be back. Here's the position. The 2 objectives. And the line is not like a continuous, neat, unbroken thing because of Bull Run and the choke points, right? Ford here, Ford here, Ford here. They're not going to be coming across here or here. At least if they do, they're going to be very slow and disorganized. So the forces are concentrated at the forts. Patterson's 10th Corps, this is their first combat. I've got them over here because I think this is least likely to see a heavy attack. And so this will be their first combat experience. They'll get that out of the way. And frankly, my idea is these guys need to build their breastworks for perk slot XP. So that's what I hope happens with Patterson's Corps. That they'll just merrily build breastworks during this battle. I do have his artillery over here on this slope facing toward the Sudley area, right down through here. And these 2 brigades are just going to come over here and build a nice little breastwork for the artillery to sit in. McDowell, 1st Corps. All right, they've got the Sudley, right, and they're right on the objective. So it's pretty constricted in here. Can't build too much or cram too many brigades on this little. It's almost an island. Definitely a very separated peninsula. But they've got top end parapets right here on the ford, right here on the objective. And I've got 2 smoothbore battalions right here up above them, and I think they're high enough above that even at this distance they can fire over. So there's a division here. There's a division back here in reserve to move up. I've got them a little bit further back just because there's not much room, and I want the artillery to have as much field of fire as they can. McDowell's rifled artillery set up along here, field of fire right into this whole area around the Sudley Church, including a few of the division level smoothbore battalions. Wilcox's division kind of in reserve right behind them. There's a lot of brigades in reserve here and there because I'm not exactly sure where they're going to be needed, and they're set back a little bit, kind of to stay out of the Artie's way. It's McDowell's Corps that has the Gatling unit, Tidball, and he is limbered up with fire at will turned off, ready to move to where needed, which could be running them right over here and putting them in the parapet with these brigades, or I might, maybe I'll run them kind of up here where you can fire it in this direction. We'll see how it goes. I will mention, this was a 4, sometimes 3 gun unit, and I called it the Gatling Company. Now that they're up to full size, it just seemed appropriate to call it now the Gatling Regiment. And, I thought I promoted Tidball. No, he's still a captain. I need to promote him to major after this battle, since he's a regimental commander. Heck, if they do really good, maybe I'll just promote him to lieutenant colonel. And then the other objective, of course, is back here, Cushing Farm. Kind of a gap here, but this should not be crossable. Or, if it is, very, very slowly crossable. And we've got reserve divisions in place should that be needed. Thomas, 2nd Corps, covering the Poplar Ford. Reinforced parapets with abatis and obstructions here right on the ford. And then they may come around this way. So here is basically Thomas's position here with his artillery set up right behind here, and I think they've got fine fields of fire. Keyes, 3rd Corps, basically he is covering the left flank. Didn't have enough points left for the fancy parapets, but they've still got a really nice defensive position here. His rifled artillery out here in this open ground oriented toward Poplar Ford. Wasn't really much of a good spot back here in these woods for him. So I've put him right on the edge of these woods so that I think in addition to their parapets, some of them may actually be getting a little bit of additional forest cover. I'm not sure if the game mechanics work that way. But they've got open ground in front of them instead of kind of putting them back here where approaching Confederates would have forest cover. I mean, here, you do what you can, right? The terrain is what it is. And then there's various, we've got the Cav Corps way out here, just watching this entire area. And then the various Corps level Cav brigades are spread along here as early spotting, and then there's various kind of skirmisher units kind of all along in here as well. Right, so I think this is a pretty darn strong defensive position. There are some viewer units on the field. Gibbon's Iron Brigade, right here in the line, front and center on Sudley Springs Ford. There he is. And he's got skirmishers over here across the ford at Sudley Church. Mager, Fighting Irish, right here on the line in the parapet at Poplar Ford. And he's got some skirms over here in the woods looking at the road coming to the ford. Fayetteville Rifle Muskets, by the way. You're welcome. And in Keyes Corps, right here front and center on this road, are the Marines under John Davidson. They're wavering right now. They'll be fine by the time the secessionists show up. They'll be fine. I am, I say this all the time, I do have some howitzers in the parapets here. I don't know how it's going to turn out for them. And somewhere here, where are they? Where are they? I can't remember which corps they are in. Somewhere is the Upper Chesapeake Battery. There we go. Right next to the Marines on the parapets. Here's the Upper Chesapeake guys, ready to loose some canister down this road if needed. And they're also pretty exposed, too. Hopefully I don't screw up and get your guys all killed. Oh, that's not howitzers. I keep forgetting. They have Napoleons. Oh, Napoleons. You know what? What's this guy's field of fire look like? Covering this whole area like this. Let's swap these. Let's put the howitzers right here, and let's put the Upper Chesapeake guys kind of facing this way. That way they've a little bit longer range, and they can cover all the way down this whole open area through here. And then they can also rotate a little bit and maybe help out right here in front of Thomas's corps, if anything develops in here. Some of these areas where I think, you know, like this fort here, that they may be entirely quiet. You know, the whole thing may occur over here and wind up in a situation where I have to extricate a corps from some of this terrain and try to march them over. We'll just deal with it as it comes. Leading elements, cavalry of the Army of the Shenandoah, coming right down this Manassas-Sudley Road, straight toward Sudley. Magruder and Beauregard have both arrived on the field already. Morale of both armies is coming up. We've already jumped up from 53 to 66. Confederate morale improving as well. 1500. Army of the Shenandoah is forming up here in front of Sudley Ford. There's a little bit of long-range artillery going, not a whole lot. Hampton Division is coming up behind. These are Hampton Division units. These are Hampton Division units. Have not spotted any of Beauregard's Army of the Potomac units yet. And of course the other two Confederate corps are not yet on the field. Leading cav of Beauregard's Army of the Potomac is coming down this road. So here's Beauregard. And Beatty's Connecticut cavalry trying to get out of their way. Morning of day 2, didn't really see a need to change any of the deployment. I moved a tiny bit of cavalry around, that's it. Interestingly, they all came down this way. Custer was sitting right about here. They didn't care a flip. They may not have seen him. There's a ridge here, and he had scouts out, so he may have had longer vision than they did. But anyway, just in case, I moved him back over this way to get him a little bit closer to an escape route back across the Bull Run here. Okay, it's almost 8:30. Interestingly, Beauregard's Army of the Potomac, they were formed up over here at the end of yesterday. They are marching all the way across the Confederate rear toward the Confederate left. I think that's pretty interesting. These units coming down this road now are from the Army of the Northwest under Albert Sidney Johnston. So things continue to develop. They're moving forward a little bit here. It's not really a general assault. They have pushed in some skirmishers over here, but our skirms did a nice job. They routed some artillery battalions before they were pushed back. Gibbon's Iron Brigade skirms did a fine job there, as well as Bryce's Mississippi skirms. Did something a little different. Usually I have these new brigades build these breastworks just to get the first perk slot open and give them ace of spades, and at that point building breastworks anymore doesn't further improve, right? At that point they develop their perk by fighting while in cover, and that's the only way to further develop it. This brigade, the 69th Brigade from Massachusetts, I gave him the engineering perk, which means he keeps building more XP as he builds more breastworks. So he's been building a lot of breastworks here. And here it is, the 69th Brigade. This battle is their first combat. They haven't shot anybody. They haven't been shot at. But they are now an elite brigade because they reached Engineering 3. Now, let's not make too much of that. What they're elite at is building breastworks, not anything combat related. So that's interesting. And they got their nice little personal flag there. The reason I did that is because with more engineering perks, with 2 and 3, your engineering points are increased. So my thought is maybe do this with 1 brigade per corps and bump up the engineering points that way. I didn't think about the fact that they would become an elite unit by doing that. And he's continuing to build XP. I'm having him continue because I am interested to see if it's possible for a brigade to actually open up a second perk slot during their first battle. Seems like maybe there ought to be another little tier there where you can only do 1 tier per battle or something. Alright, well, to the extent that they're going to make an attack, it is happening now. We've got a Cav Brigade coming across the Sudley Ford, and I believe after all the preliminaries, initial contact, artillery, skirms, I think that the battle proper is kind of opening up here. We've got 1st Brigade, Connecticut troops, Mississippi Rifles, and also the Iron Brigade right here firing in. This is a 5-star unit, but not elite like those first battle guys over there in Patterson's Corps. At some point during the siege, though, Bryce got wounded during the siege in Fort Washington before we converted to a tactical battle. So they are without a commander. Ace of Spade won, but they're just about to, I think they're going to get up into Ace of Spade 2 probably during this battle if this attack continues. Both these brigades are doing fine right here. Okay. Sidney Johnston is kind of over in the... I had enough cavalry over here. We got five brigades of cavalry. Now they're from different corps and so forth, but kind of interested to kind of have a cav action up here on their own. Dismount. And loose order. Dallas guys defending the ford fine. Tell you what, where is the let's get these Gatlings like right up. I want to get them so close. That's too close. Let's bring the Gatlings up right about here. And there's a lot of Johnny Rebs coming toward that ford there. Am I hearing it? That's not my Gatlings. Well, there's the Rockridge artillery. However, they're moving too. Do they have more than one Gatling unit now? Don't know. I'm not hearing any more Gatling firing anyway. What's going on over here near Poplar Ford? Not a whole They are crossing here. They are crossing here. Okay. Wilcox. Let's get your boys over this way. Let's go on the fence right here. Get our I don't see that they've increased their perk anymore, but let's get this brigade up here. Cook. And let's get that division commander closer as well. Okay, one infantry brigade has been routed. Here's another coming. How these guys doing for ammo? Oh, pretty good, pretty good. Oh, they're doing fine. For some reason, Gibbon didn't have his Ace of Spade perk yet. Seems like a fine time for him to get that, huh? All this rifled artillery is making hay over here. These guys don't actually get across. Maybe they're just trying to cross and can't. Is anything happening up here with our cat? Not really. Let's get this entire Cav Corps dismounted and in loose order. Dismount. Loose order. I think they're just trying to cross. I don't think they can actually get across. Not going well for Wise's brigade here. Not the first time things haven't gone well for Wise's brigade in this war. I mean, they're not actually, well, because of the river, I don't think there's actually any abatis. But they got obstructions out here in front of the parapets to get across. They're trying to get to this objective and capture it. And that just puts them right into a kill zone. Let's get these Gatlings unlimbered and fire at will. And they should be able to do some damage over here. There they go. Gatlings in action. Go Tidball, go. This is firing aren't clicking. Yeah, he's definitely got this area covered. Okay. Third Brigade coming under Gatling fire, walking over obstructions, over a ford, straight into the teeth of Mississippi rifles. I don't think that's going to work out too well for them. Tidball taking any fire? Doesn't look like it. Well, he's taking a little bit of arty fire. He is an artillery unit. He's going to be prone to taking counter battery. I do have all of this rifled artillery up here on counter battery, by the way. Yeah, I'm still going to move this division over just in case, but I don't think this is a threat here. And my computer's starting to get a little... Man, there's a lot of guys to process. Okay. Got some cav advancing on this artillery here and these skirms. Burnside has the Richmond carbines, right? Longer range, slower firing. The 9th Dragoons. And we've got 8th Cav with Hall carbines moving in. So they've actually got fairly good range too, I think. What is the range of the Hall carbine? Is it 350? That's pretty good for Cav. Okay. I don't think these skirms in this artillery unit are going to hold up too well to that for very long. Apparently I built a pontoon bridge. Again. The elite engineering unit. Let's see what's going on elsewhere on the front. Yeah, these guys are just hung up in here. So this attack over the Sudley ford here is stalled. Although Tidball burned through some ammo doing that. And he is taking some counter battery fire. Let's leave him there a little bit longer. See if we can get some Mississippi rifle skirms out here. Or they came close enough for the full brigade to fire at them. Uh-oh. Hey, Custer and maybe you guys better get back across. This is Patterson's new cavalry here. Their first combat, Springfield Musketeers. Come on back over. We did have some skirmishers kind of out here along this railroad. I assume they've been driven in by now. Patterson's artillery getting some work here against these guys across the river. Not going too well for them. Let's let Cook put some skirms out to fire on these guys. It's not quite in range for him, but it will be for his skirms. Maybe. If I can get him to move over there. Okay, let's get Tidball out of there before he loses any more guns. And I don't know where that... He's limbering up. He shouldn't be shooting. I wonder if these are Gatlings right here. I don't know if there's a way to tell. Looks like it could be. I can't zoom in any closer than that. And wherever the weapon is on an artillery unit, that's where the NATO symbol is, keeps blocking it. I know there's a way to turn that off, I just don't remember the key right now. Yeah, I can't tell if those are Gatlings. Certainly sounds like Gatlings. How's our guys doing for... not bad. Yeah, they're not doing bad. And this unit is wavering. These guys are hung up. They're part of this infantry division. How's the Cav doing? Lost them. Okay, well, so they routed that. Ended okay. Let's go ahead and send all this Cav straight at Anderson's brigade. Oh, these guys are Springfield Musketeers. That may have been a bad idea. Well, these guys will engage frontally, and then these guys will kind of come in from the side. Nothing happening here. Something may eventually happen over here on Patterson's Corps. Okay, so how's Tidball doing? Well, he took 32 personnel casualties and he lost 2 guns. That's not too bad, I think. Probably left him exposed over here a little bit too long. I don't think I'm going to commit him to any more. Let's just see now how the Gatling Regiment has done. I'm in First Corps. Gatling Regiment 452, and they weren't engaged all that long over there on that ford. Nice job. 391 infantry casualties and 59 casualties to artillery, some of which could have been infantry detachments manning artillery. I'd say Tidball's guys did a fine job in the Battle of Fort Washington. Well, I think the most interesting action is probably this Cav stuff going on out here. Yep, Anderson's brigade not liking this. You see there, they're slower firing. They're, you know, using ramrods on those Richmond carbines. They're not breech loaders. Okay. Okay, so the Cav is pretty much blocking Sidney Johnson over here at Island Ford for now. Got another Cav brigade watching Balls Ford. We at least have vision on Lewis and the Stone Bridge. There's some skirms over here. Man, Keys Corps not having much to do. Thomas either, for that matter. You guys ever want to get down there and shoot at these guys? I've given this firing order I don't know how many times. I mean, just a little bit more skirmisher fire will break both of those brigades. Looks like his XP bar just completely filled up, is not filling up anymore. I'm not seeing another perk slot open. I was interested in doing that because he's still constructing this breastwork, though. Someone had made a comment mentioning a second perk slot for a brigade, and the comment sounded like they had done it before. I have never seen that, nor have I really heard of anyone doing that, so didn't know if it was possible. I thought that was a way to see. Doesn't look like it is to me. Let's get these. Well, they're low on ammo. Come on back in. Okay, Gibbon has taken almost 200 casualties. He's under artillery fire. We've got plenty of there's no reason for him to continue taking all the damage. So let's go and just bring Gibbon falling back, and we'll put Dutton's Hall rifle guys in his place. Didn't want to leave these longer range Mississippis here, though. So Bryce's guys will stay right where they are. Did he get his? No. Yeah. Ace of Spade 2. With a lot of progress toward Ace of Spade 3. Maybe he was at Ace of Spade 2 before, I don't remember. You know, let's just, why are these guys wavering? Because they've been taking a buttload of counter battery fire, and somehow I forgot to give them smoothbores. They're on default guns. Limber up. And come back here. Oh, they're making another attempt on the parapets here. I don't know why Bryce's brigade is. There they go. Dutton is opening up. Fast rate of fire rifles here into the ford. That's gonna hurt. Yep, that brigade is out. Next customer. Hampton's brigade. How's Bryce doing for ammo? It's getting a little low. A little low. I don't think we need to send him into the parapet just yet, but let's move Franklin up a little bit closer. About to here. And let's get Stanley kind of over here. I'm making a pretty concerted attack here. I'm glad I changed Gibbon out right when I did. Kind of want to detach that artillery, but I feel like if I do, he's just going to immediately break. Oh no, he's part of the Hardy division. This is the artillery that is part of that division. They're doing fine, but I don't want them to move, so I'm going to detach them. Then I'm going to push these 3 brigades, this division, right up over here, and this is going to be shooting fish in a barrel right there. Let's go see how the cav is making out. Oh, okay. Got some more opposition coming. Who are all these guys? Is this Johnston? Yeah, Army of the Northwest. That's Albert Sidney Johnston. Somebody's out of ammo. Okay. Okay, it's time to pull these Mississippi, this Mississippi Armed Brigade out of the parapets. If I can get my computer to cooperate. She's starting to let. Nope, that's not what I want. I need to slow this down to 1x. Let's get Franklin up in the parapets, relieving Bryce. What is the overall casualty situation? 11,000 Confederate casualties, about 1,000 for us. 12% casualties for Johnny Reb. I think they're starting to withdraw, though. That's what it feels like. So this is going to be a pretty lopsided casualty count. Huh. 12.8%. 11,000 of 56,000. Oh, but that's counting the 32,000 that have already left the field. Yeah, so we're not anywhere close to a major victory. but their morale just got so wrecked by all the various routing units. So about 10,500 casualties. It's going to be pretty lopsided on who did what. Almost all of it by First Corps, which was really the only corps that was heavily engaged. The First Cav Corps did almost 1,000 over there on the far left. Second, third, 10th Corps just didn't really get attacked. It was all First Corps right there at the Sudley Ford. There were several waves where they tried to get across. The artillery, that's just the rifled artillery. 1,000 casualties. Well done to those guys. Big chunk of them artillery casualties. They were on counter, and this is a pretty good point here. They were on counter battery orders the entire time. I put them on that right at the start, and I never took them off. So of course they prioritized artillery units, but they also did over 500 casualties to infantry and 200 casualties to cav. So just because they're on counter battery doesn't mean that's all they're going to shoot at. Now it could have been that the way that the units were clustering there near the ford, that they were firing at the artillery units, but they were popping a bunch of infantry and cav as well. And then 1st Division alone, 6,400 casualties. And I think, this has to be... Yeah, this is the guy that were in the parapets. Makes perfect sense. Iron Brigade, the 1st Brigade with the Mississippis, they alone, 3,400 casualties. Wow. That's a lot in this game. And they took maybe 200 casualties. 176 casualties, 3,400 delivered from the parapets on the guys trying to cross the ford. It's pretty, it's pretty gruesome is what it is. And we already looked at the Gatling Regiment earlier. Very short time engaged, and they did almost 500 casualties as well. And apologies to the Irish and the Upper Chesapeake Battery and the U.S. Marine Corps Brigade. Johnny Reb just didn't want to mess with you. I don't know what else to tell you. 75% of the rebel artillery, 150 guns lost. Now, we're not going to capture every one of those. However, I did hear some Gatling noises going at a time when our Gatlings should not have been firing. I'll be interested to see if we pick up any after this battle. He had 88,000 on the field. We had just about 85,000. 5,800 infantry arms captured and 79 artillery. I'll be interested to see if we got anything there. And almost 1,500 more guests of the United States government on their way to balmy Camp Chase at Columbus, Ohio. Prime vacation spot. We did. We captured 3 Gatlings there. Because I had 1 in the armory and now I have 4. So that's 3 captured Confederate Gatlings. Nice. I think we got a few more Richmond carbines. Not very many. Not enough for another brigade yet. Yeah, I think we got a few more Fayettevilles. And there's enough Richmond rifles here to equip one of the smaller brigades. I'm sure I've got brigades smaller than 2,500. That'll be nice. That's a 450-yard rifle, so that's good. Mediocre accuracy, 2.5 rounds a minute, but that extra 50 yards of range. Yeah, I need to find a brigade to equip these. Maybe the Marines or the Iron Brigade would like the Richmonds. Maybe. If they're small enough to equip them, they may be a little bit too big. And nothing else is jumping out at me here. And that will do it for this episode. Let's just look at the status, kind of the broad brush status of these units in here. 10th Corps, red readiness. That makes sense, right? I mean, they were only at orange readiness up here at Baltimore, and I threw them in there. So, nice job. They didn't see much combat, though. They got a lot of breastworks built, though, and every one of those infantry brigades has a perk slot, including one elite unit, engineers. 1st Corps is green, 3rd Corps is yellow. Okay, they're coming out of this okay. Capital defended. If you like what we're doing with the channel, if you like this content, then leave a like, leave a comment, maybe even subscribe. If you would like to catch some of the other episodes in this series that you may not have seen, I'm linking the playlist here. At any rate, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.